You're listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/CheapGeek. So it begins again. Welcome back to the CreepGeeks Podcast, episode number 175.
Murder Hornets, Free Haunted House, Conjuring House live streaming, Alex Jones, Kim Jun Yun, and Paranormal Circus stuck in El Paso.
Yeah. So here we are again. Welcome back to the CreepGeeks Podcast. If you're your very first time tuning in, we are glad to have you here. If you are a repeat offender, welcome back. So we got lots of stuff to talk about in the podcast today. And this podcast is about all sorts of stuff that we find to be interesting on the internet. Yeah. What kind of podcast is this podcast?
CreepGeeks Podcast is an off-news beat.
That's right.
Yep.
Offbeat news podcast.
That takes a lighthearted approach to the paranormal, cryptid, strange, the silly, and trending tech topics circulating the web. Broadcasting paranormal news and fun stories from our underground bunker in the mountains of western North Carolina.
That's right, quarantine style.
Yep.
Self-isolating. Self-healing. It's all about love.
I'm isolating from the allergies right now.
That's right.
Yep.
Lots of stuff is trying to procreate out there.
Trees are trying to procreate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, this podcast is about all sorts of stuff we find to be interesting and things we like to talk about, and we try to keep it, sort of lighthearted and that sort of thing, even though we have subjects that may or may not be lighthearted. It kind of depends on how heavy your heart is these days.
What kind of country music are you?
That's right. So anyway, as you all know, we all have been sequestered, been coroned, locked in a place,
well, we haven't
quarantined.
We've been avoiding the corona so we don't get coroned.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, hey, we got a guy today going into the store. He didn't need a mask. He didn't even need a shirt.
Or shoes.
He just had shorts on, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe the guy just, maybe he's in a pool, maybe got out of a pool or something like that. Because, hey, we grew up at the beach.
Yeah. And
you see that kind of thing. We're in the mountains of western North Carolina. This guy was basically bald on top, party in the back, mullet style. No shirt, spare shorts, just come cruising in there and yelling about something in the store about how they took down this inappropriate poster and how come it was taken down. Because it wasn't inappropriate to him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And it's like, if it's not Corona, it's meth. It's like that. It's like a commercial. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's methamphetamine. I don't know. Now, some people listening to the podcast right now who know actually where we live might be like, whoa, why are they saying that? Well, guess what? It's true. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
If it ain't Corona, it's meth.
I mean, we used to have a podcast segment called Albuquerque or Florida.
We need one called Western North Carolina.
Yeah. Or Albuquerque.
Yeah. It's like, okay. So anyway, we're moving back into the podcast, talking about all sorts of things we find to be interesting, but there is a way you can contribute to the podcast and kind of help us out if you'd like to share. Mm-hmm. We have a phone number for you. It's toll free. And it's basically a phone number that's connected to a digital answering machine. So you can call and leave a message.
Yes. And don't leave a message saying, hey, call me back.
Yeah, because that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Or on me, because we literally have to drive about between 9 to 12 miles to actually make a decent phone call.
Actually, we
don't tell them it's shorter, because it's not. It's still an inconvenience. First, you have to get up and find shoes. I'm going to find a shirt and pants, because I'm not going to go out like this dude with no shirt, no shoes, no service, no cares. He didn't give a single crap. We come flying up and like, hey.
It's 8.2 miles. So
whatever, man.
Anyways, that phone number is going to be 575-208-4025.
Yes.
You can also reach us on our website. We have a convenient contact us form. That website's creepgeeks.com. You can also hit us up on Facebook and almost all our social media. We're out there.
Yep.
I will say we've gotten back to a bunch of the people who filled out our Contact Us form. Thank you, Thomas, for writing in. I'm getting to you soon. And everyone else, thank you so much for writing in.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
We have a couple announcements to make. First off, we want to thank our patrons for Patreon because they have supported the show. We very much appreciate them. We won't say who they are, Adam, James, and Dave, because that's not what we do here, but we do appreciate it.
Yep.
So as we move into the podcast, we'd like to start off the show, the episode, if you will, with an interesting random factoid.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, since we've been all about the coronavirus, it's kind of what the interesting random factoid has been about. It's been the search terms associated with the coronavirus. Because we figure the more we find out what people are actually searching for and what they're looking for, the better off we'll be to get an idea what the general public is thinking about corona and what they're like really worried about. Uh-huh. And here's the number one trending search term. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. There's a couple of them. The first one is Best Buy open during coronavirus? Like it's an event.
Oh, yeah.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one is, who created coronavirus? And we all know that's the Chinese. Right? Hey, that's according to what the internet says. The next one is, where's my stimulus check? Right?
Yeah.
The next one is, how long will it take to get my results back from my corona test? Like the coronavirus test.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is, how to wear a face mask.
Mm-hmm.
And when will the quarantine end?
Mm.
Will there be another stimulus check? When will Texas reopen? And milkshakes near me is a breakout search in South Africa.
That's the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, I thought was actually the best one.
What?
This has been a 4 times improvement in search quantity here. So 4 times stronger than before. Mm-hmm. Countries with no coronavirus.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And pizza reaches an all-time high. So we're looking and worried about things like, when's my stimulus check coming? Is Texas open? How do I wear a face mask? Milkshakes near me and pizza.
Oh, my.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's getting to the point where it's like, I think people are just about getting done with this coronavirus thing, and it's going to get to the point where they're going to bust out and start doing some stupid stuff.
People are doing stuff like, searching how they can do certain activities and all sorts of stuff.
Like haircuts.
Yeah.
What size bowl do you need?
Or,
yeah,
a Texas mayor searching for nail salons that are open near her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. And we did talk about last week about, these hashtag reopen, whatever, the search term, the hashtag trends of these like certain places. And we talked about our place. And it was the search term that was out there and the hashtag reopen.
Yeah.
And the organizer of that event has coronavirus. They said we'll get together and we'll exercise social distancing. It'll be just fine.
And her dad.
Yeah, it's spreading. So it's like, okay. And there has been a little bit of an uptick in coronavirus infections.
Yeah.
Probably due to people not doing what they're supposed to do.
Well,
see, now is the time to be diligent, everybody. If you're listening right now, be diligent. Stay your ass at home.
So we didn't add it to the podcast, but according to USA Today, there's a big giant spike as far as one of the highest single-day spikes in the United States this past weekend.
Yep.
As states are reopening.
And we talk to people that are like, yeah, well, the governor says going to lift some restrictions and blah. So we're going to go here and we're going to go do this. And like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, we're not doing anything because this is how they get you.
But then you have people who, have traditional employment, unlike us, and
we are non-traditionally employed, ladies and gentlemen.
And they're stuck in a quandary. Do I stay home and stay safe? Or do I go to work and get sick? And if I don't go to work, am I going to get laid off?
Yeah. And am I going to get another stimulus check?
Yeah.
And where can I get a milkshake? I really want to know. Can I get a milkshake somewhere?
Especially in South Africa. Where do you get a milkshake in South Africa?
And pizza reaches an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's a thing. So we've been looking at some of the search terms and like, okay. So it's like the people are getting restless. And what's going to happen is people are going to be like, well, I stayed home and I didn't get coronavirus. Must be gone. And they're going to go out and guess what's going to happen?
What?
They're going to get coronavirus. Yeah. So some of the symptoms of coronavirus, just in case you were curious, are fever, sore throat, shortness of breath, loss of taste, and loss of smell.
Okay.
And some people have been experiencing some gastric anomalies. So that's kind of a new thing that's been going on with coronavirus. Now, I would like to say that the fever, the sore throat, the shortness of breath, loss of taste, and loss of smell are also exactly what you get when you have allergies, like seasonal allergies, like because of the trees.
Like severe seasonal allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. Something to be aware of.
Yeah.
Now, we recommend that you just stay your ass at home because this is the time where you get out there and people let their guards down. They get out there and they think that everything is great. And guess what's going to happen?
They get sick.
Corona. Right. Yeah. So anyway, we're going to move back into the podcast. We don't mean to scare everybody and be mean to you and tell you to stay home, but stay home. You got to be diligent, man.
Yeah, but I also think, with the exception of some of the people who I think have a severe, poor lack of judgment, there are people who are starting to feel like a significant financial burden, and they're trapped.
Well, yeah, but you know what, though? They're not alone.
I know.
And which would you rather be? Would you rather experience a severe financial burden and be trapped or be dead?
That's true.
You know, one of these situations is going to be temporary. You know what I'm saying? I'm not risking it. It's like, okay, I broke my neck and I have survived relatively unscathed from that. Best I can see. I'm not going to go out there and run around and catch me some corona.
Okay.
So I'm not going to do it. So if somebody's like, hey, you want to, no. Not until the all clear sounds, man.
Yeah.
Yep. And there'll be a special siren that happens when you get to coronavirus all clear.
What?
Yeah. It's a special siren. I can't give it out. Somebody will duplicate it and try to put it out there.
All right.
Yeah. It probably sounds like, go to work.
Would you stop it?
Hello.
Okay.
So anyway, just in time for coronavirus, we have lots of different things to talk about. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So you posted this on our Facebook page.
I did.
Yeah. Super Hornets. So we kind of have a little bit, and every time we talk about it on the podcast, we actually have notes for us. So you can kind of follow along and click on links at your leisure later on. Maybe if you want to fact check us or do something like that. Kind of going out of order a little bit. These big giant super hornets are here, right? And guess where they came from?
Where?
Asia.
Okay.
Asian giant hornets have arrived in the United States.
Fantastic.
These things are huge.
Yeah.
There's a picture of this person holding a super hornet. Now, the perspective of the image is one that makes the hornet look much bigger than it really is. But it looks like this dude is holding like a kitten. Like when you hold a kitten from behind, like this little back, where you grab a little, like the little fat.
Neck scruff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, so far we've gone through all this stuff in 2020. And just when it seems like coronavirus is going to sort of kick its way back down and disappear, here comes the Asian supergiant super hornets, the murder hornets.
Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
So murder hornets. Invasive predatory insects have recently arrived in the United States. They delight in decapitating bees, and their stings feel like hot metal driving into the skin.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So according to the Times, I don't know if that's New York Times or just the Times.
Yeah, it's the New York Times. Because I think that's the article that I shared on our Facebook page.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
Basically, these giant hornets, which in hornet terms are truly huge, some of the queens can grow up to 2 inches long.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's about the size of a Vienna sausage. You ever seen these little crappy Vienna sausages in the can? So pull one of those things out, put some wings on it, right? And some mandibles that can bite the head off a bee. It's probably about the size of a AA battery.
Wow.
That's a big bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they delight in decapitating bees, and their stings feel like hot metal driving into the skin.
And I think our one of our listeners, Dirk, he shared a video.
Yeah, spiky mandibles.
It showed people who had been bit, and it's graphic.
Yeah.
But
these things kill as many as 15 people annually in Japan.
What?
Yeah, they prefer bees, but they will kill your ass just as quick as basically what it says here, right? Yeah. These murder hornets can rip through about 40 honeybees per minute.
Oh.
Yeah, they tear off their heads, and they basically take their thoraxes away to feed their young.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. They haven't been spotted in the United States before late 2019 when strange reports began trickling in from northwestern Washington. In November, one beekeeper near Custer found his hives reduced to a pile of bee heads detached from their little poor bee bodies.
You know, it's funny that they put a pile of bee heads detached from their bee bodies. Well, wouldn't that be...
That sounds very Viking-esque.
Yeah.
Like pillage the village type stuff. Then, the following month, the state confirmed the presence of a dead murder hornet a few miles north of those devastated hives. Shortly thereafter, another beekeeper found a giant hornet corpse, but winter made it impossible to tell how deeply the hornets had entrenched themselves. This is our window to keep it from establishing, says Chris Looney, an entomologist at Washington State. Told the Times, if we can do it in the next couple of years, it probably can't be done. So,
Multiple stings can kill humans, even if they're not allergic. And basically says the concern is not so much for people as for the bees, because we already know that bees are dying at a, an
alarming rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we want to protect the bees. So if you see a big giant hornet about 2 inches long, roughly about the size of a AA battery or a Vienna sausage,
call the cops on it.
Kill it. Kill it.
Yeah.
Get like a chunkla and just beat it. These things can penetrate bee suits, as one Vancouver Island beekeeper and entomologist told the Times. So their searing jab feels like having red-hot thumbtacks driven into one's flesh.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So scientists are busy setting traps for these winged terrors, but in the meantime, Looney urges, don't try to take them out yourself if you see them. If you get into them, run away and then call us. I'm not running away from a 2-inch bee or a murder hornet.
Wasp.
Whatever. Hornet. So it's like, you want some of this?
No.
I'll take my shoe off, size 14. I'll whack that thing.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
And then I'll take its little hornet head and stick it on a little stick and put it out front of the house. To be a reminder to all the other murder hornets. We ain't putting up with that crap here in the U.S. Yeah, even though they're over in Canada right now and they're coming down, we're not putting up with that. We've already got a global pandemic going on. Right, we got a little corona action happening. We don't need no murder hornets coming down here and just stirring shit up and making things worse.
Would you stop?
Right? So I'm going to take their little hornet heads. I'm going to stick them on little sticks.
Little Viking impaled
sticks. Right.
Yeah, no.
That's right. It's like, take this.
A little 2-inch.
I'm going to go outside and one of these things is going to jab me in the neck and I'm going to have some kind of reaction to it. And I want to having to go to the hospital. But I can't go to the hospital because the shirtless dude from Dollar General is there causing problems in the parking lot. It's going to be a thing. So, yeah, speaking of thing, we're going to take a second and play a little commercial. We'll be right back. You're listening to the CreepGeeks Podcast. Audible is audio entertainment that entertains, educates, and inspires. For you, the listeners of the CreepGeeks Podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a 30-day free trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/CheapGeek. Again, that's audibletrial.com/CheapGeek. For your free audio book. Enjoy this with your free trial. 30 days of membership free, plus 2 free audiobooks that are yours forever. 1 credit a month after trial, good for any book regardless of price. Exclusive member savings. Get 30% off additional audiobooks. Easy exchanges. Don't love a book? Swap it for free. Anytime, seriously. Again, that's audibletrial.com/CheapGeek for your free audiobook today. And we're back. Yep. Okay, so we had to take a quick break and get a little drink. Got all worked up and thirsty. Is that one of the symptoms for coronavirus?
Maybe.
Thirst?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay, so these big murder hornets, if you see one, seriously, it's pretty huge. I would probably think twice about trying to kill it with a paper towel or whatever you got. But if you do whack it, if you see one, you should call somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. Who to call, I don't know. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, so we do have a little bit of news, right? Yep. And you put this in the title of the podcast, Free Haunted House.
Yes. So I've been trying to figure out whether or not there's been any new paranormal news since quarantine. You figure more people are at home, more people should start noticing paranormal activity. And honestly, there really hasn't been.
Yeah.
However.
But, it's funny because people are saying that there has been, but it's like where? And I think part of what that is that there really hasn't been any really more reported cases. I think people are just talking to each other a little bit and going, some weird stuff's been going down at my house, or whatever. Or I'm experiencing weirdness.
Yeah, they're just now starting to figure out there's weird stuff going on,
Or maybe it's them.
Yeah.
You got people doing all sorts of weird stuff like giving themselves corona haircuts and, quarantine haircuts and like Britney Spears burnt down her gym. by accident. It's like, what's going on? You know.
But in this case, I did find how there's this haunted house in Louisiana, and it's being given away for free as it has a reputation as being haunted. Now, after Sylvia McLean posted an advertisement for the complimentary abode on her Facebook page, the comments section was flooded with former residents and locals telling tales of its supernatural properties, with some referring to it as the Amityville of that area, Louisiana. You know, I was the last tenant that lived there before it was abandoned, wrote Gypsy Dawn. The property was heaven, but that house is quite unsettling if you don't enjoy communing with the spirit world because they speak loudly. So, yeah. Now the post that's on the Facebook page is free house to be moved, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then a phone number. You may recognize this iconic house that is located on Vrot School Road. It's the old Vincent Vello Grandview Nursery Home, built in the late 20s or early 30s. McLean Development recently purchased the land in the home. In an effort to save the history of the home, we are offering it to anyone who would be interested in moving it to another location for restoration. So that's most of the post. However, there's over 528 comments of people basically saying, this place is haunted. You don't want it. So, yeah. Now,
I mean, it's a good deal if you're like a haunted person. I mean, a haunted house, like if you're, you know, because that was the growing trend, right? Like Zach Baggins bought the Sharon Tate murder house, and you know, people were doing that sort of thing. Like they bought the Conjuring House. People were buying these houses and stuff like that, and they're doing tours and junk, right?
Yeah.
So this would be a good deal if you got yourself a little spot of land, get that murder house or haunted Amityville style house, sort of put on there.
And now McLean, who says the new owners have to relocate the house to get it at no cost, recalled hearing creepy stories about the manor, which is said to be inhabited by the spirit of an elderly woman. Dawn Valo de Clout claims the elderly woman roaming around is her great-grandmother, Alida. This is my family's house, she wrote in the Facebook comment section. My grandparents, Joe and Lula Valo, built it, and my dad, Earl Valo, was raised here.
She likes to meddle in the kitchen.
Yeah. So,
jangling pots.
You could hear somebody picking up the lid, but there was nobody in the kitchen. People are like, I bet that's haunted. Yeah. But, wow. A few interested in the house backed down after it was quoted in the comments section at around $80,000 to have it relocated.
What?
Yeah.
It is in Louisiana?
Yeah.
How can it cost $80,000 to move it? It costs $80,000 to build a new house.
I know. So I don't understand. Now
we've seen enough shows during the quarantine phase. We've been hanging out here in old Corona Town, right?
You've been watching HGTV.
Yeah, it's like nonstop. There's nothing else on. And I know that we watched one show where they moved this house, and it was about the same size for like $15,000.
Yep.
So how are they saying $80,000? I think somebody needs to call somebody and find out how much that would cost.
Y'all need some quotes.
Yeah. Somebody's scratching up some money right now. Like, I'm going to get me a free house, and I'll just get somebody to come on in there and, you know.
And that also made me wonder, like, okay, there hasn't been much going on in the paranormal world. Maybe just posting this will put paranormal back into a trending thing. Maybe posting will get the attention of people like Zach Baggins to buy this house, you know. So, but the comments were, you know, that place looks haunted. People were talking about, because I checked some of them, and it was like, you know, I've been in that house. It's creepy, that sort of stuff. So, is it haunted? I don't know. So,
well, being that the internet is the internet, there's also lots of good tips that people were given on what you can do to sort of help.
Yeah.
Get rid of some ghosts. Like spray all the doorways with olive oil. You know, and I'm thinking right now, there's an essential oil person on Facebook's like, no, you can't use olive oil. You have to use like peppermint or spearmint oil or something like that from like some, you know, essential oil place. And, you know, they say it'll get rid of ghosts because Jesus' feet was washed with olive oil. It's holy. Just a thought, commented somebody. And it's like, I don't know.
No, why not some sage?
Yeah. Or some, you know, some essential oils.
Yeah.
Call your aunt. She's probably got plenty of essential oils that she can sell you during this time of quarantation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is it really because it's too haunted that they're giving it away? Or is it just, you know, they want to draw attention to it to maybe get some interest in it so that somebody will take it? I mean, it's a cool looking house.
Yeah.
So
now the pictures that are on Facebook, if you go to the comments now, people are pointing out one of the pictures. It looks like there's a figure in one of the windows.
Of course there is.
I know.
Like, what is that in the window? It's not a shadow.
It's pareidoia. Or, from what it looks like somebody left a towel in the window.
What? A towel in the window?
Yep. And then some people are like, it's Photoshop. Other people are saying that once you move the house from the property, it's not going to be haunted anymore.
Yeah, I would have to disagree with that because, I mean, people bring stuff home with them all the time. So attachment, that sort of thing, if it's attached to the structure or land or whatever, it kind of depends on what type of haunting there is, if there's even a haunting at all.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So. Maybe somebody will pick up and get a nice house. Yeah. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a...
But, sticking with the theme of houses, what I was like, okay, so there's a haunted house down, in Louisiana, and now it's free. What else can paranormal people be, paying attention to right now while we're all still in lockdown, some of us? And because other states are opening back up. We know a neighboring state, there's people already planning paranormal investigations. So
see, that kind of thing reminds me of, like, I don't know what it is, but it seems like in some places, more countrified places, whenever something exciting happens and there's a bunch of people around, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be some good old boys that go running up with, like, no shirts on. Like, they'll take their shirts off and run up into whatever's happening there. I don't know whether it's so that they can't be identified or what.
Funny,
or what.
You mentioned that.
It's like this guy is a Dollar General. He come running up there with no shirt on.
A story that didn't get added to the podcast was basically... It was about how one of the states near us, who's already opened up, has already had 2 paranormal investigations. One of them in a trailer park.
Yep.
And a bunch of people ran up when things got scary and somebody screamed.
There you go.
And I'm like, okay. So for all of us who are still staying at home, the real life haunted house from The Conjuring is live streaming its eeriness for 24/7 for 1 full week.
Really?
Yes, the house that inspired the 2013 film The Conjuring is giving horror fans the chance to witness all of the home's spooky happenings for a week. The current residents of the haunted Rhode Island home are kicking off a 24/7 live stream event on May 9th in collaboration with the Dark Zone Network, an online community of filmmakers and paranormal experts. Okay. Yes. Now, The Conjuring is a fictionalized tale on the real-life story of a family who lived in the cursed property during the 1970s. But this looks like they'll be doing the stream. During the stream, the residents, the Heinzen family, will conduct paranormal investigations, seances, Ouija board sessions, and invite some of the most well-known and respected luminaries in the paranormal community to pop in remotely and share their most bone-chilling experiences from the house. So the home will be rigged with multiple cameras, so the audience will have a complete immersive experience, and people can tune in on May 8th for a free preview. Then the event will be available on a subscription basis starting at $4.99 a day and $19.99 for the whole week. Proceeds will go to a coronavirus-related charity.
Called My Back Pocket.
Now, the Heinzen family first purchased this house back in 2019, and I believe we watched a show about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the one with Amy and Adam.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been a couple shows that were done where they don't actually name the house as the Conjuring House. Like even Zach Baggins and those guys did it, and they didn't call it the Conjuring House.
Yeah.
And I think this house is what it is, but it's not being called a Conjuring House necessarily by famous people because they don't want to get sued.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I mean, it just goes to show you, though, you got people working from home. It kind of makes sense. And it is a good idea. Yeah. Wouldn't it be cool to be able to log in and kind of see if anything's going down? And there's a lot of places that can facilitate that kind of thing. And see, we just did a live stream, sort of investigation, sort of tried it out and had a bunch of weird issues going on at the Off the Wagon Dueling Piano Bar in downtown Asheville. Right. And I think the Newkirks just did some kind of paranormal.
And see,
it was like a paranormal festival type thing on the internet. I can't think of what it's called now. It went right out of my head, but.
Well, my reason for putting this in here was the fact that since it's going to be live streamed and it's being backed by like an entire network, hopefully the streaming cameras and technology used is going to be better than what's typically used in most paranormal investigations.
You know, it's funny. You would think so, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's not, because it seems like that's the cool thing, right?
Because if it's just a bunch of Nest cameras with a low refresh rate, I'm going to be mad.
Well, that's probably what it is because I mean, you have like, look at the shows like this Night Show and Saturday Night Live. They're using like Zoom.
I know.
I think they're doing it on purpose because
it's trendy.
Well, not that so much as trendy, it's because that's what everybody's using right now. So why would they?
Definition of trendy.
I mean, not like trendy as in we need to use it because everybody else is using it, but they're just doing it so that they don't want to appear to be better. And I'll give it to you like this because Parks and Recreation did their own little live show. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't necessarily live, but it was like a show that they did where it was all done being recorded with webcams and stuff like that. And the quality was way better.
Yeah.
Than like the Saturday Night Live episode and some of the other episodes. And it's like, huh. So it's like they did it as a means to see if it could be done, as a real episode, like a real show, not just like, oh, look, everybody, we're quarantined. We're just like you. So we're going to go ahead and use, garbage interface and garbage bandwidth and garbage resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
I don't know.
I actually watched it. I thought it was okay.
I would hope, though, for this, they're going to up the production.
Yeah, if I'm paying $5, I want to see some good quality. I want like 60 frames per second. I don't want like no 14 frames per second junk.
Are they going to downgrade the technology just so that more people who tune in might have the likelihood to see something? And I'm using air quotes as I say that, ooh, something rushed by the camera.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like garbage. So you can make your own, make your own mind up as to what you think it sounds like. Yeah. To me, it sounds like static, but to you, it might sound like something else. Going back to pareidolia again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So that's a thing. So speaking of a thing, this actually happened again.
What?
Right? Okay. So the Conjuring House is doing this live stream thing. Mm-hmm. And then you got, this haunted house where people, if you want it, you can come get it.
Yeah.
It's only going to cost you like $80,000 to move. Right.
Yeah.
And so this is something that's kind of happened to us. You had all these show cancellations and all these conferences and conventions were being canceled because of the coronavirus. And then you got this sort of Paranormal Circus show in El Paso who's stuck. Right.
Guys. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's kind of neat. I didn't even know there was a Paranormal Circus.
I know. When they get back on the road, I want to look them up.
Yeah. So evidently they're stuck in El Paso for some reason. And the sad picture is there's a dude who's doing some kind of flipping around thing on some parallel bars or whatever those things are called, and a bunch of trailers behind it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not every day that the circus comes to town, but it's even more rare than it's basically the circus comes to town and never leaves.
Yeah.
It's like,
So they showed
March 16th, these guys got there.
Yeah, they showed up on March 16th, and they were basically they arrived for a week of scheduled performances at the Sunland Park Mall. Like how the malls always have like these little mini fair festival-y type
where they
things.
throw everything together in like 15 minutes.
Yeah, but this one's a paranormal road show, right? So they showed up and they found out that the show was unfortunately canceled because of the virus. And then when the coronavirus outbreak hit the United States, the circus's performance was delayed indefinitely.
Wow.
They've now been living in the parking lot of the Sunland Park Mall for over a month, waiting until the show can go on.
Yeah, thank goodness the mall has been gracious enough to let us stay. And thank goodness our boss pays for our meals and water and giving us a place to stay, or we probably wouldn't make it.
Oh, my gosh.
So this guy's probably just blowing through all his savings, right?
You know what it reminds me of, though, sadly?
What?
Like Carnival. Because that show was based during the Depression era when people were sick, and plus the Depression and everything else was going on. Yeah. So they were trapped a couple of episodes in different places, and you just felt like, wow, how awful is life that you're basically their home has been a parking lot for a month. Yeah. And it's funny because March 16th is when North Carolina was like, okay, we should probably shut down. We should, So, but they didn't start making decisions till whenever. And now that places are going to start opening up.
They're looking at May 6th.
Yeah. Which I think ours is May 8th. I don't know. I know. I just hope that these paranormal shows like these guys get back on the road safely.
Yeah. The Paranormal Circus is a roadside circus that sets up its tent performance in a new town every week, but it doesn't really say what they do.
Yeah, so
it just basically says these guys are all stuck in the Sunland Mall parking lot. So I was kind of hoping it'd give some detail as to like what some of their acts are, but it doesn't really say.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad. They're stuck in the parking lot somewhere.
Oh, they have 91,000 likes on Facebook.
Very nice.
Yep.
Yep. So they're stuck. They've been quarantine trapped in El Paso. the Paranormal Circus. So maybe May 6th, if you're in El Paso and you're like one of the 2 people listening to the show, it's in Texas, you should go check it out. Because, Texas isn't that big.
Oh, wow. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not every day that we get some news from Alex Jones trying to put some information out there that we need to pay attention to, but I thought this was something that we should probably put in there. And this is from Vice.com, so be this as whatever, take it whichever way you want to take it, being as it is Vice.
Yeah.
And the top of the, it basically, here's the topper that gets you drawn right into this. Mm-hmm. Increasingly desperate Alex Jones says he will kill and eat his neighbors.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. Whether you like Alex Jones or not, he's one of these people where enough of the public has looked into him to where they just don't like him.
Yeah.
And anything he says will be taken basically literally, word for word. Whatever he says, they're going to take him at his word. Give you an example. If he says, I'm going to take the trash out in a minute, and 60 seconds goes by and he has not taken the trash out, he's going to hear about it. You said you were going to take the trash out. You're a liar, all that kind of stuff. But what it says underneath it, right, underneath the title of the increasingly desperate Alex Jones says he will kill and eat his neighbors, is I'll admit it. I'm literally looking at my neighbors now going, am I ready to hang them up and gut them and skin them and chop them up? And you know what? I'm ready.
This is awful.
I think what he's trying to say.
I almost regret putting this in the podcast episode.
Well, Alex Jones seemingly hasn't been doing so well lately is what it says.
Yeah.
Things are so tough that he has pivoted to talking about his imminent cannibalism and how he will kill and eat his neighbors.
Yeah.
So Vice is already spinning this as like he's so desperate, Mm-hmm. But it's like, you think I like sizing up my neighbor? How I'm going to haul him up a chain, chop him, I'll do it. My children aren't going hungry.
Yeah.
And so he reiterated on how he's ready to resort to cannibalism several times. I'll admit it. Because I'm just going to be honest, I'm literally looking at my neighbors and he's going to eat them. So, okay, the cannibalism clip is a stark reminder of how far Jones has fallen, and Jones always was, right? Like the doomsday carnival barker.
Yeah.
And he's selling outrage to the gullible who briefly amassed an outsized amount of cultural cash.
Yeah.
Okay. See, Vice is one thing, and they say what they say, and Vice has had issues, and they brought all sorts of issues out and had run-ins with celebrities and stuff like that. Alex Jones is still a big deal.
But I will say, and I'm scared to say certain keywords in this next article, but with Vice, they're a lot more impartial than the other websites I could have linked to for this.
Well, yeah, they are now.
Yeah, now.
But they've also had some run-ins where they've been sort of kicked in the teeth and sort of had to back up a little bit.
Because
one of the run-ins was with PewDiePie.
Yeah, and if you look at this article on other websites, it basically goes above and beyond to make it how clear, in their opinion, Alex Jones is a total clown.
Yeah.
And how he's a madman. Don't listen to him.
Some of the stuff he says is so outlandish. And, sadly, a lot of the stuff that he talks about, when you do your research, is actually correct. So, I mean, and I'm not talking about like the gay frogs post that he talked about a long time ago. I'm just saying, I don't follow Alex Jones. I don't have time for all that nonsense because, he is sort of, he's putting it out there and he's making it over the top and he's making it super dramatic and all that stuff to keep people's interest up. And there are people that are really interested in what he has to say because he does a good job at making it sound crazy.
There's an ounce of correlation and an ounce of truth in a lot of what he says. Yeah. But
sometimes there's even more than that. But I don't think he's really going to eat his neighbors.
I mean, I do find it funny, though, that the way this is being presented is how dare this person use shock value to appeal to an audience when that's what everybody does.
I know, and that's what Vice is doing.
When Vice has to make the SEO, search engine optimization, for this article have shock value in it,
right?
To get people to click and read the article, and we have to use keywords and tags in our podcast episodes and our link posts so that people will read them. It's what everybody does.
Yeah. So you can't sit there and point the finger at this dude.
Yeah.
When you're doing the same thing.
I mean, the pot calling the kettle black right now in our culture is getting to a point where it's so toxic. And right now it's politics or, the C word theories, alternate theories. It's everything. Culture in general. We're getting so, hypocritical and so finger pointing. It's just, intolerable.
Yeah. And he's one of the ones where you think that he'd be able to say some stuff and be out there. And he was big on all these networks and junk, but he created something, and I'm sure he wasn't happy about it. But, you used to be able to, the whole idea that with Facebook and Patreon and places like this, you could have and express your own opinion, even if it differed from the mainstream. That used to be a thing where people would think that way. Yeah. If they could put out their opposing opinions, no matter how crazy it is, because, freedom of speech and stuff. That's not the case.
No.
He's been dethroned from like Twitter and YouTube. I think Twitter. Yeah. But anyway, he Facebook and YouTube. So he has like no real social media platforms that he can speak from anymore. Yeah. And Apple as well. And they all basically say the same thing. And it was a shock to a lot of people where it's like, you have no freedom of speech.
Yeah.
On these platforms at all. And there isn't really one platform out there where you do have freedom of speech. And there's going to be somebody that's going to pop out there and then throw up some obscure things. Say, well, these guys will let you say whatever you want and you should check them out. And it's like, you know what? Yeah. They say that now until somebody steps in and goes, you know what, we're going to basically pull your entire website and take down everything and all your servers and everything because of what you're saying, and they're going to change their tune real quick.
And you know what? We'll back up to when we had our Facebook problems about a month ago.
Yep.
And I joined many of those social media platforms through the suggestions of friends. And what I can say is so far, at least one of them, I feel like we need to delete our account.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing but.
It's nothing but hate speech and crazy stuff and weird stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
yeah. So I don't feel safe on that platform. I mean, right down to people trying to figure out where the podcast lives.
Yeah. Like, where do you guys? Yeah. It's like, yeah, okay. So he's had some problems, man. He's been dethroned. Like he was taken off of Facebook, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, InfoWars is what his network is. Mm-hmm. They took it all down. Took him off of iTunes. They took him off of Vimeo, MailChimp, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. They cut him off from everything.
Yeah.
And they say that Alex Jones's celebrity dried up, but not really, because he still has InfoWars and the website and everything like that, and he's still making money. But I think what people are going to be seeing here in the future is that a lot of the swing that happened to sort of kick a lot of these people off because of alleged hate speech and things like that, it's sort of going to shift back the other way because there's been such a huge knee-jerk reaction to this whole thing that when people look at it and go, hold on, that's not really what was said here, that their opinions are going to change.
But you have people like, and it happened this past week with like people I know where on social media something was said and either an algorithm or a bot caught it and said it goes against community standards.
Yeah, and it completely wasn't. Because here's the problem that we have, right?
Yeah.
With whatever they're saying is that the algorithm or a non-human interface that does these sort of things and sort of flags these events and takes them down, whatever these contents are, can't decide or discern the difference between what's actually being said and the meaning behind it.
Yeah.
Or the context that it's put in.
And that's a problem, though, because there's so much of it and it's hitting so heavy within the past couple of weeks. And it's such a significant portion of people.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the weird paranormal people I know. It's like the hikers I know, the craft people I know are something they have said has targeted something.
Yeah. The algorithm jumps in there and says,
and you've
gone against our community guidelines. And it's like, well, hold on a second,
and
man.
You feel helpless against it. And I feel so helpless that I'm counting how many times Greg is saying certain things and how many times I'm saying certain things in this podcast episode because I'm worried it's going to catch on.
Well, it doesn't matter.
So there's so much that I would love to talk about, and maybe we'll make it Patreon Plus, maybe we won't. But
yeah, because even Patreon is not safe. Yeah. They'll get in there and say do the same thing.
But
so there's really, you can't say the C word, and we're not talking about the 4-letter C word that people are probably thinking. It's the word that sounds like
it's the Mel Gibson movie.
Why would you bring up Mel Gibson?
Oh yeah,
who's had all of his problems, and he just definitely made it worse. But
yeah.
All these conspiracy channels out there, you better watch it, right? And I mean, people have been saying that for a long time. You better watch it. But okay. So anyway, Alex Jones is going to eat his neighbors if it comes down to it, according to what this article in Vice says. And I don't think he'll really eat his neighbors. First off, he's probably got to catch them, and he still looks a little portly. I don't think he'll be able to go too far, but they make it out to where he's this fallen person, and he's got stooped so low as to threatening to eat his neighbors.
Yeah.
When it's all context, and the whole thing is like taken out of context. Yeah. So I don't think he's really going to eat his neighbors, but
Yeah.
It's just funny. Increasingly desperate Alex Jones says he will kill and eat his neighbors. Huh. I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay.
Why don't he just go to the store? Because you can still do that. You don't even need a shirt, as evident by the experience we had today. You just walk right on in Dollar General.
He doesn't even have to go to the store. He probably lives in a much more metropolitan environment than we do. He can call DoorDash or Uber Delivery or Uber Eats or whatever.
Yeah.
Amazon Fresh Now, whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have
He could probably get it. We can't even get a pizza. See, we can't get delivery where we live so far out in the middle of nowhere, but I bet he can get a pizza. That non-contact pizza thing.
Yeah.
Where basically this door opens up and you reach in there and grab your pizza.
Yeah.
Those are good times. One day we'll be a part of that. But not right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of funny. It's like, oh, here we go.
Yep.
Got more stuff going on. So it's like, what else are you going to talk about? Murder, Hornets. Mm-hmm. He wants to eat his neighbors and stuff. Conjuring House is charging to see ghosty stuff. Hopefully you'll be able to see some. You can get a free haunted house if you want to pay $80,000 to move it. Mm-hmm. The UFO videos that were made popular.
That we've talked about a billion times.
And people are like, wait, this isn't new. This isn't the same old, this is new. It's like, no, it's not. Okay, so the U.S. Navy had these videos, right? The ATIP videos. Mm-hmm. Where it came out and they show this unidentified aerial phenomenon flying around, and they said, we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And people freaked out, like, oh my God, the Navy is saying there's UFOs. Well, they said they didn't know what it is. And, an unidentified flying object and an unidentified aerial phenomenon, if you don't know what it is and it's whizzing around the sky, that's what you call it. They're not admitting that there's like life on other planets and aliens and little green men or anything like that. They're just saying they didn't know what it was. Right? Mm-hmm. And so they owned up to the video originally and said, yeah, that's our video. It's obvious it's a Navy video. And then they said we didn't own it because somebody else in the government said, no. That's not our videos. We're not going to say we own that video or not. And now the Navy is saying, yes, that's our video. So it's like, it was our video and it's not our video. Now it's our videos. And some people are saying, well, no, it's not the same information that was before. Now they are for sure verifying that UFOs exist. And it's like, no, that's not what they're saying. They're still saying the same thing. We don't know what that is.
Is this just like a complete breakdown in people's interpretations?
Yeah, because it's
everything?
Like, when I go outside and see something whizzing through the sky and I can't identify it, it's an unidentified aerial phenomenon or unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean there's an alien piloting the thing. You can't see it. So how do you know what it is?
Yeah.
It's like, but they're trying to say that this old video, which is old now, and we've all seen the videos and the fast mover and all that stuff and Tic Tac and all that junk.
Yeah.
They're saying, yes, it is an authentic video. That's all they're saying. It's authentic. It came from the jets that were whizzing around out there. They still don't know what it is making that. And that's really about it. They're not saying there's UFOs actually exist, as in UFOs and little green men and grays and all that other stuff. They're just saying they don't know what it was. It's unidentified. I'm going to say right now, most of what people are seeing these days that are whizzing around all crazy like that are freaking drones and military technology. Yep. I'm saying it. Because, people are like, well, it couldn't be a human flying it because it moves too erratically and the G-forces and all this other crazy stuff. Well, there's been drone technology and drones have been whizzing around since like the 60s, probably even the 50s. And if they don't have to use traditional types of propulsion to fly around and stuff, then they can do all these crazy maneuvers and stuff, and they wouldn't fly around like a standard aircraft. I think a lot of what we're seeing is military. If it's mechanical looking or triangular shaped, I think it's military. And there is hive technology, right? There's swarm technology. They can fly together. They can do all that stuff. Look at China. When they have celebrations and stuff, you see like these drones that go flying up, like 1,500 drones that form like flowers and panda bears and all sorts of crazy stuff flying around. I think it's military technology.
Okay.
But we got to talk about it because the U.S. Navy videos have been authenticated again. Yes.
Yeah.
They're saying that the video was taken by a military craft. The military craft was owned by the United States government, and they don't know what it is, and it's an unidentified aerial phenomenon. So I guess until there's like footage of a gray flying this thing around, we don't know what it is. So stop saying it is what it's not. And the Navy is not admitting that there's like aliens from outer space. They're just saying they don't know what that was flying around there Because technically, if you go look at a brown mountain light, if you happen to be in North Carolina, you see a brown mountain light flying around, that's an unidentified aerial phenomenon as well. Is that an alien?
Yeah.
An orb? A naturally occurring thing? Some bioluminescence, maybe? Is it paranatural? Is it paranormal? Don't know. Right?
Yeah.
Who knows? All I know is Chicago has a twerking party. Right?
Yeah, and I just put this in as like some
people
of
breaking them rules.
Our stupid news in general. Certain places are opening up. Some have not actually opened up.
Right.
And Chicago, Atlanta, these cities are taking to the streets. Cops are responding to break things up, but it's not really working because Atlanta PD tells TMZ their officers actually ended up responding to 2 massive street gatherings this weekend. And it sounds like one of them was what we're seeing here in this video. This video is it's like a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah.
It's just this pile of race sporty vehicles, I'll say. Lots of Civics.
Yeah.
And motorcycles and stuff. And there were at least 100 people gathered. Parking violations aplenty. The police started to disperse the crowd and eventually issuing tickets.
Breaking that social distancing.
Yeah, and that's when people got rowdy and it just all hell broke loose, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All because of twerking.
Yeah, well, no, that's just the Atlanta one.
Oh.
Now, separately, Chicago, there was a twerking party. Yeah.
That's the one we need to go to.
Yeah. So a throng of folks hit the streets of West Cheetown Saturday night for a rager. A woman twerked on the hood of a car as the crowd roared its approval. Chicago has been hit hard with the coronavirus outbreak, and Mayor Lightfoot pled with Chicago residents Saturday not to defy the doctors and scientists. It's one thing to go out and get exercise and adhere to social distancing. It's another to pack in like sardines and have a block party or a house party like one of the videos in this article.
Yeah.
Which included adult entertainment dancers that were completely violating social distancing.
Yeah.
And
Strippers.
other horrible things. Now, as a result, the city of Chicago is going to fine you $5,000 if you're caught. So there were 6 house parties that were planned for Saturday night. One of them's already getting fined. Yeah.
So if they're hosting the party, they can get blasted with $5,000 fine.
We will shut you down. We will cite you. And if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail, period. Don't make us treat you like a criminal. Don't be stupid. Don't come out and don't advertise on social media.
Yeah. So the police superintendent, that dude, David Brown, said the city is aware of those 6 house parties because they were bold and blatant.
Yeah.
Putting that stuff up on social media. So you don't have to be a rocket scientist to root them out.
Yeah.
So they're just advertising anyway.
And now
getting popped for it.
And Brown and Lightfoot are both urging people to call 911 if they know or see a house party.
How is that going to go? 911, what's your emergency? There's people twerking. They're out there twerking on the hoods of cars. They're not maintaining social distance.
Yeah. Yeah. It's getting bad, folks. And this is, we're picking on our own country right now. We're picking on Chicago and Atlanta. And, the Airbnbs apparently are trying to secretly open up and they're getting in trouble as well. But it's not just us. People in the UK are doing the same thing.
Yeah. I like what they say is a solution. We have to do better. It says if you want to have to hang out with your friends, call them. If you want to have a dance party, TikTok.
Yeah.
So you can just be twerking on TikTok together.
But,
do some other form of video.
Yeah.
It's the height of foolishness to attend or host one of these parties.
And
just because you're young doesn't mean you can't get it. They're talking about Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, people in the UK are also violating quarantine orders. And this is an article from Vice, and it's people are really stretching the definition of essential errands during quarantine.
Yeah. Now, this was the straight up excuse I was going to use if we got caught riding around.
Yeah.
Because when we go to the store and get something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this one guy in the UK.
Mm-hmm. A roughly 240-mile round trip to buy some bread.
Yeah.
Why? Because he said it was $1 cheaper in the capital. They pulled him over doing 110 miles per hour on the M1 North.
Going to get some bread.
To buy bread in London. He also had his 2 young children in the car. Now,
he was hoping they would go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because they're making him tired. He's just like, these guys are killing me.
And that's... Oh. Now, there's another person who... A driver traveled from Coventry to Salford, not sure the distance on that, to collect a 15-pound, so $15 eBay purchase of windows.
Nice.
His wife could not fit in the vehicle, so she was traveling in the boot for the return journey when they stopped them on the M6.
So she's in the trunk. They got the windows in the car.
Yeah.
You got to do that essential stuff. It's essential to get new windows.
And they're like, read that sentence again. His wife was in the trunk of the car because of his $15 secondhand windows.
They were probably a good deal.
That he just insisted on picking up himself instead of paying for shipping.
That's right.
Because he wanted to get out of the house.
Well, yeah, because they're $15. Shipping would be crazy. Makes sense. Put you in the trunk.
Yeah.
You got to get that bread.
But the most high-profile violator of Great Britain's rules has to be Dr. Catherine Calderwood, Scotland's now former chief medical officer. Over the past 2 weekends, she's made 2 separate trips from Edinburgh to her family's vacation home in Fife, despite the fact she has literally been the face of Scotland's public information campaign and appearing in commercials urging everyone to stay home. Yeah. She was given police warnings, after pictures of her trip were published by a Scottish tabloid. Basically, she's traveling cross-country a couple times now. Yeah.
And you know what? Celebrities, according to this little side article, think that the quarantine is a great time to get plastic surgery now.
Oh.
And then right next to that, they have this New York Police Department bust illegal speakeasy during quarantine, and there may be others.
Oh, wow.
Got their own little clubs going on.
That
got twerking parties.
Kind of cool,
little side club and down in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to spread the corona.
And I mean, these are just some of the stupid news. There's a lot of like trending news about certain celebrities just either not taking quarantine seriously or celebrities having breakdowns in their mansions and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe celebrities being arrested on house arrest because of some secret thing that nobody seems to know about related to another thing that we talked about previously in the podcast that I want to talk about, but I'm kind of scared to.
We're going to talk about it on the Patreon Plus episode.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It'd be like, and let me tell you about this, and then just go to radio silence and you'll hear nothing.
No, we'll actually talk about it. So
that's all right. They can try.
But yeah, so it's not just stupid Americans or dumb Americans. Everybody around the world is got cabin fever. And we're all frustrated. We all want to leave the house.
Now it's time to tighten the belts and lock it in, man.
So pick up a new hobby.
That's right. Watch some TV. There's all sorts of things you can watch on TV now.
Yes. As much as
you got like
tired
home and garden channel stuff. You can get on Amazon Prime. You can watch like all the Seth Breedlove Small Town Monsters series.
Yeah.
Like On the Trail of UFOs. There's some Bigfoot stuff. There's all sorts of paranormal stuff to watch.
Yeah.
You can do the live stream for like $5 at that one place. What was it called again? The Conjuring.
Yeah.
We have a link for it.
Yeah. We put links to everything we've talked about in the show notes for each podcast episode.
Yep.
But yes, the Conjuring House. They're going to be on, I lost it. The Dark Zone Network.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Interesting. Yeah, anyway, it's been kind of a crazy time, so we figured we kind of touch on you guys, talk about stuff in the podcast today, for everything from murder hormones to all sorts of stuff. And the last crazy thing we'll talk about before we let you go is something that I seen and I thought, oh, this is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Okay, so evidently the supreme leader of Korea, North Korea, has been gone for a while.
It's not in my podcast notes.
I know, but I have a link for it. So there is a theory going around since basically Kim Jong-un has been missing for like 3 weeks. He's been absent out of the public eye.
Yeah.
And there's been, all the theories that he went in for major surgery. He had like a heart attack. He's been, basically he didn't do so well during the surgery. He's brain dead. And, the other theory is he's dead. And the president was asked about it. And he said he knows more than he can say. And all this crazy stuff's going on. Well, magically, just recently on May 1st, photos of Kim Jong-un is opening has photos of him basically opening a fertilizer factory in Sungcheong on May 1st.
Okay.
So he's back. Well, there's been people out there taking pictures of Kim Jong-un before and the current and comparing them, and they don't look to be the same.
Oh.
So there's a theory, and hey, a lot of dictators have doubles.
Yeah.
I mean, Stalin had doubles. Adolf Hitler had doubles. Pick a dictator. They have doubles.
Yeah.
Right. That way they can be everywhere and nowhere all at the same time. If something happens to them, they can be. So the theory is that Kim Jong that we knew is gone. And he's been replaced by a double.
Oh.
And it took him a while to get spun up, if you will, since the 3 weeks that he's been missing. And then they also point back to a time where he was missing as well for a while and then came back and he looked slightly different then too.
Okay.
So since he hadn't been seen in public, and that was in 2014 where he wasn't seen in public for like 5 weeks.
Huh.
Where he missed like the major holiday commemorating the founding of the ruling party and all that stuff. And at the time, speculation about why he was absent ranged from he was nursing a hangover, suffering from gout, or he was overthrown in a coup.
Okay.
Yeah. And when he finally reemerged in the spotlight, this is back in 2014, there was no confirmed explanation as to where he'd been.
Yeah.
And even more mysterious, he showed up walking with a cane.
Huh.
Right, leading to speculation he'd been recovering from some sort of health issue.
Yeah. And then
You think he's in poor health anyway.
And see, that's the other thing. All these websites, whether they're mainstream or not, they always call him the dude out. He's like, he's a chain smoker. He's obese. He's got gout. Yeah. He's got all these health problems. And it's like, man, what a way to call a dude out. I mean, yeah, he's a dictator, but you're just like calling out this guy's bad habits.
Yeah. So, but it just lends to, but
yeah, the
picture, I mean, like it showed us side by side and they look very similar, but they also look, like one, like the newer shot picture, that guy has different teeth.
Huh.
So I don't know. So they're saying that he's fine. Everything is great. And he's out there opening up fertilizer factories and all that stuff.
My thing is,
but the secret theory is that he's dead.
I'm trying to look at some of these photos, and he's obviously shorter in some of them.
Yeah,
that's the thing that's bugging me the most. And he's either shorter or he's a little more bloated, But it's, I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Yes. See, rampant media speculation that 36-year-old Kim was recovering from major surgery or gravely ill or dead. And there's been a flurry of activity by United States intelligence to figure out what, if anything, is really going on. And they say, but it turns out he's alive. On Friday, North Korean state radio reported that the dear-respected supreme leader had participated in a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the opening of a new fertilizer plant.
Wow, he's only 36?
Yep.
Oh, my.
So I don't know.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But I just thought that was kind of weird. It's like, That's another one of those C-word conspiracy. We can't say what that word is, that's out there.
I'm pretty sure every other word we've said is going to, Yeah. And the reason we're so mindful of that and saying it so often this episode.
It's because a non-human algorithm will flag you for it.
And because it's happened to me this week.
Yep.
Of all people, who is so mindful that she doesn't even cuss or tries not to on the podcast or social media. Yeah.
So there you go.
Yes.
But hey, there's some stuff.
What stuff?
We just talked about some stuff. There's some stuff.
No.
But yeah, that goes back to the Cold War stuff, like spy stuff. And there's been movies like that where, something happened to the dictator and then, they bring in like a double, and to run stuff. And I don't know, man. Thought that was kind of crazy. I figured that's probably about the best way to end the podcast with just a little weirdness, even more weird than usual.
Yeah.
Some real bona fide stuff. So now, thanks to us, every time you see a picture of him, you're going to go, I wonder if that's really him or if that's just a body double. Could be a body double.
I will say throwing his name into Google Images is just very interesting. So,
yeah. Yes.
Now, again, folks, we put links to everything that we've talked about in the show notes. If you want to reach out to us, contact@creepgeeks.com or find us on social media. Our Facebook page is taking off, as is our Facebook group. Our Facebook group, pretty interactive. That's one of the best places to interact with us, as well as our Patreon. On our Patreon, you have exclusive ways to reach us, interact with us, as well as exclusive content. We do have to say thank you again to our Patreon supporters, Adam, Dave, and James. And if you check out Patreon, you're going to notice those people, they get some extra perks that not every other listener gets.
Yeah, exclusive patron-only content.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Yep.
This has been the CreepGeeks Podcast, episode number 175. Murder Hornets, Free Haunted House, Conjuring House live streaming, Alex Jones, Kim Jun Yun, Paranormal Circus is stuck in El Paso, and other stuff.
Oh. Okay, I'm stuck on the Google images.
See, I'm telling you, if you guys Google it, and if you can't spell it, just copy it off of our title and throw it into a search. Do a comparison. You'll see what we're talking about. Things look a little bit different. One of these things is not like the other.
Oh, man.
And actually, I think there's you could probably look at Mysterious Universe, too. I think they actually have two good pictures to compare side by side.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and leave you with that.
Okay.
So you've been listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. We appreciate having you here. New content every week, so tune in. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. But yeah, so anyway, see you later. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
Bye.